If you're over 60 and you're still masturbating the same way you did in your 20s, I need to warn you, what once felt harmless may now be quietly damaging your prostate, weakening your erections, and even robbing you of your emotional connection with others. And the worst part? Most men never realize it's happening until it's too late. I'm Dr. Rena, a physician specializing in men's health for over 3 decades. I've helped thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s not only restore their sexual health, but reclaim a deeper sense of energy, confidence, and masculine pride. And time after time, I see the same pattern: good men making quiet mistakes they were never told to avoid. Because here's the truth no one told you: masturbation isn't just about release. Done right, it can improve blood flow, protect your prostate, support your testosterone levels, and even strengthen emotional well-being. But done wrong, too often, too forcefully, or without awareness, it slowly tears down the very foundation of your sexual health. In this video, I'm going to share 5 masturbation secrets older men wish they'd known years ago. Secrets that can transform how you age, how you perform, and how you feel about yourself as a man. And before we're done, I'll reveal the single biggest mistake silently weakening your erections and draining your energy. One that most men over 60 are making without even realizing it. Let's get started. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss a health insight designed specifically for men in their 60s and beyond. And if this message resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0. I'm here to serve you better, and your feedback matters. Now, let's begin with the first truth every older man needs to hear, because this one alone could make the difference between slowly losing sensitivity and preserving the strength of your erections well into your later years. It all starts with how you touch yourself and why the way you've been doing it for decades may now be doing more harm than good. Secret 1: the way you masturbate can either build or destroy your erections. I want to start with something most men never think twice about. It's automatic. You've done it the same way for 30, maybe 40 years, but the truth is, the way you masturbate now can either preserve your erections or slowly destroy them. And sadly, for most older men, it's the latter. I've seen this countless times in my practice. A man comes in, early 70s, decent health, but he's noticing changes. Weaker erections, less sensation. He says, "Doc, it's just part of getting older, right?" But when I ask him about his habits, how he masturbates, it's the same story every time. Tight grip, fast strokes, eyes glued to a screen, just like he did as a teenager. What he doesn't realize is that his body is no longer built for that kind of intensity. At this age, the nerve endings in the penis are more fragile. Blood flow is slower. Hormones don't recover the way they used to. And what once felt like harmless pleasure now comes with a serious cost. I call it grip fatigue syndrome, a slow, quiet deterioration of the nerves and blood vessels in the penis caused by years of aggressive, high-pressure self-stimulation. You may not notice it at first, but over time, the sensitivity fades. Erections take longer. You need more stimulation to finish. Eventually, you may even become dependent on porn or fantasy just to feel something. That's the price you pay, and it's steep. Some men try to ignore it. Others double down, thinking they just need more stimulation to get the same result. But the truth is, they're digging the hole deeper. By continuing to masturbate like they did in their youth, they're accelerating the very decline they fear. But here's the good news: it's not too late. The solution isn't to stop pleasuring yourself, it's to retrain your body. Start using slower, softer movements. Explore new sensations. Let go of the goal of finishing fast. Use your breath. Pay attention to how your body responds. When you learn to masturbate with care, not force, your body begins to heal. Blood flow improves, sensitivity returns, erections become more natural again. This isn't about giving something up. It's about reclaiming something you thought was lost. That strength, that presence, that quiet confidence in your manhood. And if you're wondering, what else have I been doing wrong without knowing it? You're not alone, because the next mistake is something even more dangerous. It's one most older men make with the best intentions, and it's quietly draining your energy from the inside out. Let's talk about that next. If you're still here and these truths are resonating with you, type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're still with me and ready to take back control of your health. Now, let's keep going and move into the second secret you need to know. Secret 2. Frequency matters. More is not always better. This one hits close to home for a lot of men, because we're told from a young age that the more sexual activity we have, the healthier we are. Use it or lose it, right? And while there's a grain of truth in that, it's also a dangerous half-truth, especially for men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. I remember one patient, Harold, a 68-year-old retired firefighter. Fit, sharp, active, but he came to me feeling constantly tired. He'd lost interest in most things, said he couldn't focus like he used to. I ran the usual labs. Testosterone was on the low end, but not alarming. Heart and brain scans looked good, but something didn't add up. Then I asked him, very gently, about his private habits. He admitted he was masturbating every single day, sometimes more than once. He thought he was staying healthy, keeping the plumbing moving. But what he didn't realize was that he was draining his body of its essential fuel. Because here's what most men never hear. After a certain age, ejaculation takes a toll on the body. Every release demands a recovery. It depletes vital nutrients like zinc and magnesium. It dips your testosterone temporarily, and it floods your brain with dopamine, followed by a crash that, if repeated too often, can dull your drive, your clarity, even your motivation to connect with others. This is the part no one tells you. The price you pay for frequent masturbation at this age isn't just physical, it's emotional, hormonal, and deeply mental. It can leave you feeling flat, foggy, and unfulfilled. Some men describe it like their energy is leaking out of them, one drop at a time, day after day. Now, I'm not saying you have to stop altogether. That's not realistic, and it's not necessary. But most men don't realize they've crossed a line until their body starts sending signals. Fatigue, irritability, low libido, weaker erections. That's your body's way of saying, slow down, I need time to restore. In my experience, 2 to 3 times a week is a healthy range for most men over 60. It keeps the prostate healthy and testosterone cycling without draining your reserves. Remember, at this age, the goal isn't frequency, it's sustainability. But what happens when a man replaces connection with repetition? When masturbation becomes a habit of escape, not expression? That's where things start to shift on a much deeper level, and that's exactly what we need to talk about next. Secret 3, masturbation is not a replacement for intimacy. This one is hard to talk about, but it's where many older men quietly lose their way, and they don't even see it happening until it's already taken something from them. I remember speaking with a man named George. He was 74, widowed for 5 years and living alone. He told me, I don't mind being by myself, I've got my routine, and when I feel the need, I take care of it. He said it casually, even proudly, but when I looked deeper, into his eyes, into his energy, I could see something else. He wasn't satisfied, he was lonely, and his private habit, something that once gave him comfort, had turned into a quiet escape from the intimacy he no longer believed he deserved. And this is where the danger begins. Because over time, when a man repeatedly chooses solitary pleasure over connection, his brain rewires itself. What once stirred at the touch of another human being now only responds to the familiar, his hand, a screen, a fantasy. The more that pattern sets in, the harder it becomes to respond to real affection. The body starts to forget, and so does the heart. That's the real cost. The price you pay isn't just in weaker erections or lower libido, it's in emotional distance, disconnection, and the fading belief that intimacy is still possible. I've seen men in their 70s who could have shared beautiful connections with someone new, but they no longer knew how. They had trained themselves out of intimacy, replacing presence with habit, replacing emotion with escape. I say this with compassion, not judgment. When you lose a partner or life changes, masturbation can feel like the only thing left that gives a sense of control. But when it becomes the only place you turn, it can turn on you. There's another path. Even if you're alone, you can reconnect with yourself in a more intentional, soulful way. Make it less mechanical. Slow down. Bring warmth and attention to the moment. Remember what it feels like to touch not just out of need, but out of care. Your body is still capable of real connection. whether with yourself or with someone else. But it takes practice to reopen those emotional pathways. And if you think this only affects your mind and your heart, think again, because the next truth I'm going to share reveals how your physical health, your prostate, your pelvic floor, even your bladder, is all being shaped by how you treat your body during and after masturbation. And most men are getting it dangerously wrong. Let's talk about that. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, drop a number 1 in the comments to let me know you're here and taking this seriously. Now, let's keep moving forward with the 4th secret every older man needs to know. Secret 4, your prostate health is directly tied to how you masturbate. There's something most men don't realize until they're sitting across from a doctor, nervously describing symptoms they never expected. A dull ache in the lower abdomen, discomfort after climax, or a frustrating sense that they can't fully empty their bladder. And more often than not, the root cause is something they never suspected, how they've been masturbating. Now, I've had this conversation more times than I can count. A man in his late 60s or early 70s will say, "Doc, I thought I was doing everything right. I keep active, eat clean, I still masturbate regularly to keep things working down there." And I'll nod because on the surface, yes, regular ejaculation can be good for prostate health. It helps move out old fluids, keeps the ducts open, and can lower the risk of inflammation. But then I'll ask the next question, what do you do afterward? And that's where the silence comes in. Because most men don't realize that when you climax and just move on without allowing your body to properly recover, you're leaving your pelvic floor locked in a tight, reactive state. Over time, that tension builds. The muscles that support your bladder, your prostate, and your sexual organs become rigid, inflamed, and overstressed. That's when problems start showing up. Frequent urination, incomplete emptying, pelvic discomfort, even pain during or after orgasm. It's something known as chronic pelvic pain syndrome, and it's far more common than you think, especially in older men who continue to masturbate without awareness. This is the part most people never talk about. The price you pay for ignoring this is not just discomfort, it's a slow unraveling of your urinary and sexual health. It can lead to unnecessary procedures, medications, or even surgery. And yet, with just a little more intention, it could have been avoided. The body needs care, not just stimulation. After you climax, your nervous system needs time to shift out of high alert. That means taking a few deep breaths, lying still for a few minutes, taking a warm shower, doing light pelvic floor stretches if needed. It's not about becoming fragile, it's about becoming wise. This is your foundation we're talking about, the root of your vitality as a man. If you take care of it, it will take care of you. And that brings me to perhaps the most surprising truth of all. What if I told you that orgasm itself shouldn't always be the goal? That there is a way to experience pleasure and aliveness without draining your energy each time? And that it could radically change how you feel, think, and age. Let's explore that next. Secret 5. Orgasm isn't the goal. Energy is. This might be the most important shift you'll ever make in your relationship with your own body. Because for decades, we've been taught that sex, or masturbation, is about one thing, climax, the finish line, the release. But the truth is, especially as we age, that mindset is quietly robbing us of something much more valuable, our energy, our presence, and our vitality. I remember a man named Dennis, 72, still sharp, still sexually active, but burned out. He told me, "I can still finish, doc, but afterwards, I feel wiped. It's like I've lost something I can't get back." And he was right, because what he didn't know was that at his age, every ejaculation draws on deeper reserves. In younger years, the body recovers quickly, hormones bounce back, the tank refills overnight, but later in life, that recovery takes longer. Each time you climax, especially without care or awareness, you're spending energy your body doesn't easily replace. Over time, it adds up, like withdrawing from your savings without making deposits. That's the real price. The cost isn't just momentary fatigue. It's a gradual decline in drive, mental clarity, emotional strength. It shows up as forgetfulness, lack of motivation, irritability, even low-grade depression. You may not connect the dots right away, but your body knows. Your nervous system knows. It's telling you quietly that something needs to change. So, what if you shifted the goal? What if instead of rushing to the end, you focused on the experience itself, on arousal, on breath, on presence? What if you practiced edging, bringing yourself near climax, then backing off, learning to ride that energy rather than collapse beneath it? Some men call this sexual transmutation. Others call it mindfulness. I call it longevity. Because when you learn to move sexual energy through your body, not just out of it, you begin to feel stronger. You feel more focused. You feel alive again. This isn't about shame. It's about power. It's about making the most of the life force you still carry inside you. Masturbation doesn't have to leave you drained. It can leave you recharged if done with wisdom and intention. And if this is the first time you're hearing any of this, you're not alone. Most men never learn these truths until it's far too late. But now you know. And in just a moment, I'm going to bring all of this together so you can walk away not only informed, but empowered. Because understanding is one thing, but knowing how to act on it is what truly changes your future. Let's finish strong. Conclusion. If you've made it this far, then I want to thank you. Not just for watching, but for having the courage to look inward. Because the truth is, most men never take the time to rethink something they've done the same way for decades. They don't pause to ask, is this still serving me? They just keep going, unaware of the price they're paying until something breaks. But you're different, and that means you still have time to turn things around. We've covered 5 essential truths today, truths that I've seen make all the difference for men in their 60s, 70s, and even beyond. We started with the way you touch yourself. I told you the truth, your technique matters. The tight, fast, friction-heavy habits of youth no longer serve your body today. In fact, they're breaking it down. But when you choose a slower, gentler, more mindful approach, your sensitivity begins to return. Erections feel fuller. Pleasure deepens. You reclaim control over your own body. Then we talked about frequency, not because there's a magic number, but because too much, even of a good thing, becomes toxic. The body needs time to restore, especially at this age. Ejaculating every day may feel like staying active, but in truth, it can leave you hormonally depleted and emotionally flat. Moderation gives your body room to recover and your mind space to reset. Next, we explored the emotional cost. Masturbation is not, and never should be, a replacement for intimacy. When it becomes an escape from connection, the consequences are subtle but real. Emotional numbness, difficulty with real-life arousal, and even a fading sense of self-worth. You deserve more than that. You deserve to feel wanted, to feel seen, to feel close. Then came the physical truth. Your prostate, your pelvic floor, your bladder, they all depend on how you care for your body during and after sexual release. Rushing through climax and skipping recovery leads to tension, inflammation, and long-term discomfort. A few minutes of intentional care after release can save you years of frustration and doctor visits. And finally, the most powerful truth of all, orgasm is not the only goal. Energy is. You can choose to ride your arousal like a wave, rather than crashing every time. You can learn to hold on to that life force, circulate it, and feel more alive because of it. That's not fantasy, it's biology, it's wisdom, and it's yours if you want it. I've spent over 30 years helping men navigate this part of their lives, and I'll tell you what I've learned. It's never too late to change. The body wants to heal, the spirit wants to reconnect. And real masculinity isn't about how hard or how often, it's about how deeply you live, love, and feel. So take what you've learned today and use it. Share it with a friend. Reflect on it, and most importantly, give yourself permission to grow. Because you're not too old, and it's not too late. In fact, this may be the beginning of something stronger than you ever expected. If this message spoke to you, please take a moment to like this video, share it with another man who needs to hear it, and leave a comment below. Even just a simple one to let me know you're out there and committed to your health. Your engagement helps more men find the truth they've been missing, and it tells me to keep creating content that truly serves you.